Hey guys, welcome to my little paintbrush. I'm Miss Sarah and today we are going to be painting a Disney inspired Olaf, one of our favorites. I hope you're as excited as I am to paint him. We're going to capture his personality and have a lot of fun doing it, right? Just remember to be nice to yourself. We're learning together, so enjoy the process. And our number one rule at our studio is to have fun. So let's have fun together. I'm going to use a couple of brushes today. First, I have a large flat, I have a small flat, and then I also have a detail brush. And these are my favorites, but any brushes work for you. You can use the number 6 round as well. It comes in our paint kit, and it works awesome with this painting too. All right, so first things first, we need to put our largest brush in some water. Okay, loosen up the bristles. Our paint gets really thirsty, right? And so we'll need some water on our bristles. And then I've lined up all of my colors. You probably have all these fun colors, right, for your painting? So put them out where you can see them. And we're gonna mix some colors to get that frozen look, you know, that beautiful turquoisey blue color. And so we have this turquoise color, but we also have phthalo blue because it's a shade darker. And we're going to grab a little bit of white first and just kind of mix it with our turquoise. Because what we're painting first is the water. Did I mention that? If I didn't, I'm sorry. But that is what we're painting first. We're going to paint the water around Olaf. Okay, so we need to mix the colors here. I'm going to add a little bit of phthalo blue at a time. Just a little bit. That way I can determine how dark I want it. See that? If I just mix a little bit at a time, then I can make it lighter or darker as I go. One thing I love to do when I'm painting is not mix it too much. I like to kind of pat it. And that way I get different shades in my background. You'll kind of notice as we start here, we're going to start in the corner. And we're painting around Olaf, but there's a pool of water following him. You'll kind of see that there's these ripples, not a pool. I meant ripples. My goodness, my brain is a little bit out of it today. All right, so we're doing ripples of water around Olaf. So try and think of your brush as the ripples, okay? And we're gonna move it around Olaf as if we have these ripples showing up around him, right? Now, as I get closer to Olaf, I'm gonna put some white on my brush. I'm going to make it a little bit lighter as I get closer to him. Okay. You can do that if you want, or you can just keep on going with your color just the way it is. It's perfectly fine. The idea is to just keep our brush going around him as if the ripples are just floating around him. Okay. Now, as I start getting closer to his arm here, keep your brush moving around, but we're going to carefully paint around his arm, just so you have that as a guide if you want it. And it's okay. There we go. But still try and keep that brush curving as you go, so you get those ripples. There we go. Okay. Nice work. And keep going around our Olaf there. Paint in between his fingers. You can even paint over it if you want to, just as long as you can still see it well enough or you know where those fingers are going to go. All right, so I have it all in. So now I'm going to put some white on my brush on the corner. See that? I'm going to go around my Olaf with the white facing my Olaf. See that? And you kind of start to get this white glow or this wave and ripple around him. Here we go, all the way around. Just moving my brush back and forth. Okay, come around this side. Want to try and stay around our Olaf, right? We don't want to paint inside Olaf. if we can help it, because Olaf is white. So we're going to try really hard to keep all that paint going around him. There we go. Coming around this side. He's so fun. Such a fun personality. Makes us all happy, huh? He loves warm hugs, which is the best during winter. Come around his head, so careful. You have to slow down sometimes to get up close because we don't want his head to turn blue. Go all the way up there to the corner. There we go. I think we got it. What do you guys think? How are we doing at home? Remember that we all paint at our own speed, right? Some of us are faster painters, some of us are slower painters. They're both just fine. But if you need to pause the video and take just a minute to catch up, go for it. That's the awesome thing about watching a recording, right? Watching a tutorial. I mean, I definitely miss you in our classes. If you haven't come to a class, I want to see you sometime, but if you can't come to a class, this is perfect because you can just pause the video and go at your own pace. Okay, at this point, you can also reach around and paint the sides and the top and the other side and part of the bottom blue. That way you have all of your sides done. We call it wrapping our canvas. Okay, now before my paint dries, I'm going to put some white ripples in my water. So I'm going to put some white on the corner of my brush here. Okay, I'm just going to come right up here, anywhere you want to add that ripple, but I'm just going to add this fun little ripple going around Olaf. See that? Okay. I'm going to add another little ripple on this side of his head. Just like that. Just kind of let it fade out a little bit. I have another one up here. Just like that. You can make them darker or keep them pretty light. That's totally up to you. But these fun ripples just add so much, right? Make it look like he's floating in that water. Awesome. All right, let's rinse our brush out really good and just let that dry for a minute. Okay, so while we have this background color, I'm gonna grab a flat brush. I'm gonna show you two different ways to do this. You can either use a flat brush and float around Olaf's eyes to give it that little blue glow, or you can outline it with a line brush. So I'll show you both. I'm going to put a little bit of blue on the corner of my brush here, okay? See, just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to brighten it up, I think, actually. Yeah, there we go. I want it really light. So maybe add a little bit of white to it. Okay, I'm going to come out here to our eyes and just go right around our eyes. You can kind of barely see it. We don't want it too dark. It will take away from Olaf's white, right? See how there's just a little bit? Or you can take a line brush like this. And take this line brush and you can go around Olaf like this with a line brush. See that? Okay, so you decide what works best for you and what you're comfortable with. I'll do one of each here. You'll see they're both perfect. They work great. Just depends on what you prefer. See that? So I can go around his eyes and use that line brush as well, or you can use a flat brush and just gently float around his eyes. Yes, it's similar look, it's just slightly different, right? Okay, just like that. And we're gonna leave that alone for a minute. Rinse your brush out. Perfect. Let's go ahead and put his nose in. Okay, and we have orange here for his nose. I'm going to add just a little bit of white to it, just to brighten it up a little bit. Okay, and this is our first layer for the nose. Layer number 1. I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. I'm using this flat brush to put that nose in. Go around here, follow it around. There we go. Awesome job, guys. We're going to try and stay in the lines best we can. Just like that. Okay. Awesome. There we go. Got that nose on, so I'm going to rinse my brush and let that dry. He looks kind of silly right now, right? Don't worry. He's coming. It's going to happen. Let's get some black on our brush now. We're going to paint the inside of his mouth. This big mouth here. He's really happy. And he's smiling so big, huh? So let's go ahead and fill in that mouth, going right along the edge of his smile. We've got to make sure we try and keep that big tooth of his white, huh? I'm going to try and paint right around it. Very carefully. Kind of have to slow down to paint around that tooth. There we go. There's a little tiny area over here, right? You can use the toe of your brush if you're using a flat brush like me. But if you want to switch to a smaller brush, that is perfect too. You can just switch brushes real quick and use a smaller one for that little area. Okay. Whatever you are most comfortable doing. Here we go. We're just going to fill this in and come right around his mouth here. I'm going to try really hard not to pick up my brush to get that smooth line. But boy, that takes lots of practice, guys. So just try, right? All we can do is try and do our best. There we go. We're going to come right around here and up, finish it off. Woo! Good work. That is tricky. Awesome. There's his awesome mouth. Okay, let's go ahead and fill in this black, what would you call it? A button or a stone on Olaf. And it's not this perfect circle. We're going to give it some character here and kind of make the sides not a perfect circle. I love that, right? Okay. Now, once you've got that done, we're going to get ready to do his arm and eyebrows. So grab a smaller brush now. We want to use this detail brush, right? Grab a smaller brush. We're going to come up here to these eyebrows and carefully fill them in, just like that. Here we go. You're probably wondering, now why haven't we painted Olaf white yet, Miss Sarah? That's because Olaf's background is white. So we're not painting all of Olaf white unless you need to or want to. I'm just going to show you how we're going to add some shadow to him to bring him to life and leave that fun canvas showing. Okay. Oh, but see, I got a little drip from my nose right there. So if you end up doing that, that's where you'll put some white on it. Right? How'd the eyebrows go, guys? We had to slow down, huh, to do those eyebrows. Okay. Now your background should be dry. You should be ready to put these fun twigs coming up off your canvas for his hair. that. Now this other one over here, he has 3 and he has one more right here shaped like a Y. See that? Kind of going right off the side of the canvas. Love it. Okay, so while you have black on your brush still, let's go over here and put in his arm. You can change this up, make it whatever you want here, or you can follow our pattern. Okay, we're going to curve it right here on the inside. Make it look like it's stuck inside him, huh? Stuck inside our snowman, Olaf. Okay, I'm going to kind of come down and up. There we go. And if you notice, I'm not being super picky about his arms being straight. Because if you remember, it's a twig, right? And they're not perfectly straight. In fact, we're going to put a little twig sticking up right here. Boop, just like that. You add a little bit of a twig, just for fun. All right, let's put these crazy fingers on here. Come around, we got 1. Now Olaf does not have 5 fingers, guys. Believe it or not, he has 4. 1, 2. Let's curve this one out a little bit. And then one more kind of coming down here. Like that. Kind of squared off a little bit. There we go. Those are Olaf's silly fingers. Every time I paint them, they're a little different because it just depends on where your hand goes. Love it. Okay, so there we go, you guys. Are you starting to see Olaf? He's coming to life. Let's rinse our brush. Really good here. I'm just going to come over here now and put that white over that spot. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do some shadows. Shadows are a little tricky, right? So remember, as we're doing shadows, we have to be really light with our brush. We don't want to press too hard. And I'll show you what I mean here. So first, I'm going to make a gray. Bring a touch of black, mix it over here to create this gray. See that? This is going to be my shadow gray. Okay, so rinse your brush. Really good there. And we're going to add a shadow with our gray right under the chin. Okay, so we're going to follow that chin line. See that? And we're just going to brush back and forth to give Olaf that shadow. See that? When you add the shadow, that kind of makes it look like his head isn't flat. It looks like he has some dimension there, right? Okay, so we're brushing back and forth with our gray and getting a shadow there. Awesome, just like that. It doesn't have to be super dark, right? Just a little bit. I'm wrapping it around here, kind of going around the arm a little bit. But remember, we don't want to lose our Olaf. We don't want Olaf to turn gray, okay? So we're just using a little bit at a time here. I'm going to rinse my brush. Let's put a touch of that gray on the corner of our brush again. Just like that. We're going to go right under Olaf's mouth here. Very lightly. Because again, we don't want our gray to just take over. Oh, I touched some black on his mouth. Okay, so we're going to brush back and forth right there. Very lightly. To let that shadow show. Okay, perfect. Perfect job. Now, if you think you got too much gray and it's bugging you a little bit, all you have to do is put some white on your brush and brush it right back out. Okay? There we go. Now I went into my mouth just a little bit, so I'm going to take my detail brush and just straighten out my mouth right there. Just like that. All right, so you have your shadow. So you can see that Olaf isn't flat, right? He has a little bit of dimension now. Okay, so let's add some more shadow. I'm going to make a little more gray. Just doing a little bit of gray at a time. So I made some more gray. We're going to add a shadow under his nose. Okay, so let's get a little bit of gray there. We're going to come right here under the nose and add some there as well. There we go. Don't want to add too much there, right? But a little bit is perfect. There we go. Super light. Really light gray. If you want yours darker, go for it. We love to see what our artists do. And also, you may see that you want shadow somewhere other than me, right? But there's just enough there that you can see that his nose. There, I'm gonna make it a little darker for you. There we go. Now you can see it a little better, I think, right? Okay, and let's put a little bit of shadow right along the edge of his mouth, right up top where it curves. Just like that, just a little bit. You can use your line brush right here. I'll show you that. So if you have a line brush like this, right? Put that shadow gray on it, and you can come right along the mouth here, like that, and come around, just like that. So, depends on what you want to do there. Okay. All right, now we're gonna put that last layer of orange on our nose. So grab your flat brush. Let's put some more orange on it, and this time we're not mixing our orange with white. Okay. Not mixing it with white. There we go. Just the orange. And this time you're gonna see that that orange really shows up quite a bit more, right? Oh, I got a little drip, huh? I had too much water in my brush. That happens sometimes. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it around. See how much darker the nose is with that second layer? Now, some of our younger artists will prefer not to do a second layer, and that's great. If you love your nose, then perfect. That's all that matters. There we go. Got Olaf's nose on there. Love it. Okay, let's grab our flat brush. Now, normally I would say you don't need to put any white in your eyes, just like we did Olaf. But if you feel like your blue may have gotten into your eyes a little too much and you want it more white, just put some white on a little flat brush here, okay? And paint that white in. Again, just go right, and that white will cover up anything that's bugging you. Just like that. So if you're feeling like you got too much blue and you don't want that much blue inside your eye, just paint around it really quick, and that's perfect. Okay, let's finish up our eyes. Grab your detail brush or your line brush, put some black on it, and we're gonna do Olaf's eyelids first, okay? Now his eyelids, we wanna just follow the edge of his eye and press as we're up top there. Make it a little thicker and thinner as you come down the edge. I didn't go all the way around his eye. If you want to, you can. All right, and let's do the other side here. So you'll notice I'm just going to start right about here on there. Come up. Thicken the eyelid as we go around. And then let it thin out as you go down. Oh, I put my finger on that. Good thing we have white, guys, right? Good thing we have white. White will cover that right up. I'm gonna rinse my brush out now. Okay. So if you did something like I did, get some white on your brush. Make sure that black's dry first. Okay, gotta make sure it's dry. Oh, Miss Sarah goofs up all the time like that. We call it happy mistakes because that's how we learn, right? All right, let that dry a second. Let's put some more black on our brush and we're gonna let our eye dry a minute. We're gonna go ahead and put our smile in. Go. We have to try and go straight across that tooth. If you don't pick up your brush, you'll be able to get that line. It's worth a shot trying. We're going to go all the way across here, following that edge. There we go. There's his smile. He looks kind of scary without his eyes finished, huh? We got to finish up those eyes. I'm going to rinse my brush again. And get that water in our black, and let's go right up here and go ahead and put our circle in for our eyes. We have to be so careful with this circle. Right? So careful. Here we go, all the way around. Making a nice circle with our brush. Filling that in. Let's do our other one. All the way around. Fill it in. Good job. Circles are super tricky. We're just gonna do our best, right? Do our best with those circles. There we go. That looks better. Okay, let's let our eyes dry just a minute and we're gonna add any little outlining we want to do. So I'm gonna add put some black on that detail brush. We have a little outline under the nose right there. Remember that shadow we talked about? That just helps show off that shadow right there. Okay, and we're gonna do a little bit of outlining up top, but first I'm gonna go below here because our eyes are wet and I don't want you to put your hand in the wet eyes. So let's start right here by the neck and curve in a little bit to show where there's a separation. Okay, and then we have some on the other side as well, and it kind of starts up here. Brushes down, and then we're going to add a little more shadow right here. Just helps it pop a little bit, right? This is completely up to you if you want to do this or not. Some of our artists prefer not to. Okay, and while you're over here, just put in the other arm with that little detail brush of yours, or a small brush. Just a little tiny part of that arm showing, right? Helps balance Olaf. All right, and we're gonna come over and do the other side now. All the way around. Okay, and come up here and let's just put his little cheek in. If you want to outline all of Olaf, go for it. Okay, we're gonna do That black is wet. Be so careful right here. And come up and around. Go right around the head. Trying really hard not to smear it. Okay. Go and come right back down there. Just like that, and there he is. Now you can really see him. All right, so if you got little spots like Miss Sarah does, you have black there, and I have some black there. Sometimes that happens as we're painting. Just put some white on your brush. Okay, and you can just cover it right up, just like that. No problem. No problem at all. Got a little bit there. You can just finish up your work any way you like here. Yeah, do you see any other little spots you may want to touch up with your white so Olaf is nice and white? Just make sure that Olaf is dry before you do it. If you try and touch up while Olaf's black is wet, you will have a mess, okay? So wait till it's dry. Okay, let's do our highlighting. So put some white on your detail brush. Make sure your white is really clean. Let's go here to our little button rock, we'll call it. And we'll put a little highlight in there. And let's put some also in his arm there. See that? And of course, some in the mouth. Oh, he's so cute. Okay. And then some right along the top of the nose. Nice bright highlight there. We're also going to put a little bit in his other arm just to show that it's there. See how you can really see it now. And then we're going to come up here to this fun hair of his and add some light to it if you want to. One there, and then we have a little bit here as well, anywhere you think the light might be reflecting on him. Okay, guys, how are you feeling about your Olaf? Hope you love it as much as I love mine. Be sure to tag us so we can see how cute he is, okay? Grab a detail brush or any brush and flip it around. You want to use the back of it, okay? And we like to call this our chocolate chip. Get a good chocolate chip on the back of your brush in white, and then add that sparkle to Olaf's eyes. Look at that, he just comes alive, right, when you do that? So cute. Okay, the very last thing we're gonna do is sign our name. Because as artists, we have worked really hard on our painting. We love our work and we want everyone to know it. So I am going to take a detail brush, find a special spot, and put my name. Hope you'll do the same. And be sure to show it to us if you'd like. We'd love to see it. Thanks for painting with me. We'll see you next time. Bye.